A major issue we face as a species is chatter. We spend between 1/3 and 1/2 of our waking hours not present in the moment. During that time, what are we doing? We're talking to ourselves. Your inner voice is your capacity to silently use language to reflect on your life. Chatter represents the dark side of this inner voice. When we turn our focus inward to understand our problems, we don't find solutions. Instead, we ruminate, worry, and catastrophes, becoming stuck in a negative loop. This remarkable tool we possess, our inner voice, turns into a curse instead of a blessing. I'm Ethan Kross, a professor of psychology and management and the author of Chatter, the Voice in Our Head, Why It Matters, and How to Harness It. Regarding whether there's an evolutionary purpose to the inner voice, many scientists believe that language is a tool aiding us in navigating the world. Our ability to use language, not just to communicate with others, but also with ourselves, provides a survival advantage. It's an incredible problem-solving device. At the most basic level, our inner voice is part of our verbal working memory system. This fundamental feature of the human mind helps us keep verbal information active in our heads. Our inner voice also allows us to simulate and plan. Before a big presentation, for instance, I'll mentally rehearse what I'm going to say, the different talking points, and anticipate the questions the audience might ask, responding to them in my head. This simulation helps me prepare. Our inner voice also helps us control ourselves. Think about the last time you wanted to reach for a late-night treat, but told yourself, "Don't do it. You'll regret it in the morning." That's your inner voice. Finally, the inner voice helps us create narratives about our lives. Many of us look inward to develop a story that explains our experiences, shaping our understanding of who we are, our identity. So, while the inner voice can be incredibly helpful at times, it can also be detrimental. Firstly, it makes focusing difficult as chatter consumes our attention. It can also create friction in relationships because you're repeatedly talking about your problems and not listening to others. Chatter can make us more irritable and lead to displaced aggression. Additionally, chatter has severe negative physical health effects. You've likely heard that stress kills. While that's not entirely true, as a stress response is adaptive, it becomes toxic when chronically elevated. Chatter perpetuates stress by keeping our minds fixated on stressful events, leading to prolonged stress responses. This can predict cardiovascular disease, chronic inflammation, and even cancer. The negative implications of chatter are hard to overstate. The good news is that there's a science-based toolkit to regain control of your inner voice. There are individual strategies you can use, ways to harness relationships, and even methods of interacting with your environment. One effective tool is rituals. We crave control, and chatter often makes us feel like our thoughts control us. Science shows we can counteract this by creating order around us. Rituals, or an ordered sequence of behaviors performed the same way each time, provide a sense of order and control, which feels good when we're mired in chatter. Tennis great Rafael Nadal, for example, struggles to manage the voices in his head during matches. He uses rituals during breaks, like sipping from 2 water bottles in a specific sequence and placing them back in exact positions. This ritual helps him manage his chatter. There isn't a one-size-fits-all tool for managing chatter. The challenge lies in finding the unique combination of tools that work best for you. Experiencing chatter doesn't make you weaker. It makes you human. Welcome to the human condition.